Afraid of AI taking your job? The fear is real. AI replacement layoffs are not only happening, but they're targeting white-collar corporate jobs. Is there still time to learn how to manage AI? Doesn't somebody need to be here to steer the ship? Sales, marketing, SEO leads, CRM ads, conversion, and ROI. Reed Hansen of MarketSurge wants to help you leverage automation to your advantage. So say hello, join the live chat, and feel welcome. This is ATI Auto Business. What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to ATI Auto Business, automotive ecosystem, where some people learn more about how the automotive industry really works. Let's get started with top industry news and headlines that include from tariffs and Musk to all-out war. Load fraud is really hurting the dealers, and AI is coming for your corporate job. At the quarter hour, we have Reed Hansen of MarketSurge.io. Feel free to do homework on your own right now. Go to MarketSurge.io. We're talking about taking control of AI. You've probably seen an ad or two that says like skip the next 30 days because you may have, had a job change anyways. And go to an AI boot camp and learn AI because there's already so much AI, custom AI, specialty AI, in whatever field you're in. There's already a lot to learn. So, we're going to talk with Reed at MarketSurge. What is MarketSurge? Well, it is a lot of marketing, sales, agents, software, tools. And Reed's going to tell us more. That's Reed Hansen. You can find him on LinkedIn. You know me, I always say get to know your ecosystem. And it keeps expanding. There's really a lot to it, no matter what you're doing. And we're the neutral zone. I think the only neutral zone. Everybody else has an agenda. That's why I say welcome to auto transport. You can't say that. I've been doing that for years. I've been literally saying it for years. I think it's had a negative effect. I have to deal with that. I created automotive ecosystem because I still believe, positive or negative, I think the world is catching up to my negativity. So there's that. Now, on Tuesday night's last show, and I'm not going every week anymore because there's no point, and I'm still more consistent than I think almost any other podcast in the automotive ecosystem. We're now doing this. Can I build an automotive podcast with AI? Because let's face it, Jay, we don't really want to hear you talk every time. We might want the information, but you're not the guy. So maybe AI can be that guy. We started with research. We're going to go into development next. And, time is precious. Just skip ahead. You skip ahead to like 25 minutes into the podcast. That's great. Give it a 10-minute listen if you can stand it. Industry Logistics is my Thursday show. Not every Thursday anymore. We're listening to the audience. And we're talking when we can about sensitive issues and emails that we and our constituents receive. And we did a show. And I found this interesting. I didn't mean to find it, but I found it. Profit and power is a tagline in automotive media. And I realized it's profit and power or something like car hauling. You pick one. Profit and power or is where we are. Much like in international politics. You have to choose what you're going to believe because nobody cares. And forget it. We're just scrapping it. You're not going to get to know your automotive ecosystem. Scrap that. All right. Before we get into the actual news, let's spin the wheel of business safe, boring ideas. Shoveling leadership? No. Future of speculation? No. Awards for no reason? No. Job promotions on paper? No. Single-digit percentage change? No. Rich executive feel-good stories? No. And sponsorship obvious? No. We're not doing any of those. So, here we go. Let's get into the actual news. It's not easy to find actual news, but I found it. In a recap, 2 weeks ago, there was a burning ship bound for Mexico carrying cars of Chinese brands that was abandoned near Alaska. Recently after that, Musk called Trump's spending bill, the big beautiful bill, a disgusting abomination, which then turned into the Trump-Musk feud, among other things. Have a nice day, GJT. Trump said the relationship over Elon Musk warned of serious consequences if he funded Democrats. I don't even know why that was part of the argument. And then Musk says, you know what, I'm really sorry about lashing out at you on social media. Forget about have a nice day, DJT. We went right into ICE riots last week. That was exciting. Again, power and profit is in the riot gear, and another gripe with a leaf blower. It just turned out that it lasted all week, and then Trump's military parade, which cost like $50 million and had like 20,000 viewers, turned into a massive U.S. protest for no kings. Truth, I didn't even know about it until like that day. Did you know about it? Anyways, truckers were advised to adjust their routes to avoid the protests. I don't know how easy that was. There were protests everywhere. But nonetheless, here we are. Trump's floating higher auto tariffs. That was on Friday the 13th. Your guy floating higher. I love that. That's awesome. Anyways, hey, you want to be pals? No. All right. Well, anyways, auto parts bankruptcy is the first big casualty of the tariff war. Morelli blames tariffs. Nah, can't be true, Joe Biden. Businesses expect to pass along 50% of tariffs, Joe Biden. And I applaud Automotive News for getting some of that in their news. Wow. Unbelievable. Automotive media covered actual news? My God, that's so cool. Auto imports are cratering thanks to tariffs. U.S. maritime auto imports shipments sank by more than 70%. Not a problem. I think Obama started that. CBT has automakers face production threat as China's rare earth magnet exports trigger industry panic. That can't be true. Who needs magnets? Oh, wait a minute. Trump says U.S. will get rare earth minerals from China in a done deal, so their tariffs on their goods go to 55%. As if anybody can keep up with as if anybody's even trying to keep up with tariffs anymore. Now, the really bad news was something like this. Bogus car carrier thefts pit dealerships against each other. You had to sift for this, but we found it. We talked about it Thursday on Industry Logistics. And in fact, on LinkedIn, Charles says Mercedes-Benz of Laredo gave a Mercedes to a car carrier without verification of their identity or requiring the normal documentation, and now refuses to refund the money. Why would anybody do business with this dealership? And that's interesting because what he really wants to know is, what was the load board where the bogus car carrier got the dispatch? See, nobody even knows to ask that because that's not what we talk about. We talk about, I don't even know. 1% up in the auction this week and wholesale changed by a half a decimal and all this other crap, when we really want to know, oh, and by the way, you know what? Oh, no, don't look at that. We're going to have another fraud webinar where 5 people watched. I know, Jay. You're right. Wait a minute. James says that is a good question. You see the likes just in this little post? And the impressions? Shouldn't scare anybody. Don't let it scare you. Now, here's one for you. It just looks like a normal post. It's posted for $1,000, a Honda Civic. Great paying Honda Civic, $1,000. Okay, great. All right. Then there's a text. I see you're working with a broker. We can ship your car at a reasonable price. Wait, who was this text sent to? Oh, the customer? And the scam is that they photoshopped the $1,000, but it looks normal. Did that really happen? Nah, we're too busy watching Sammy Hagar. I get an email. Jay, I know I'm bothering you. You're the only one who'll hear me out. And it's true. No one else is going to listen, dude. Dude. We don't have time for you and your business and your problems. We got auction awards to give out and sponsorships, and Sammy Hagar's playing. But you're right. I do want to know that your business is collapsing. Bills are coming up, and all the companies I've written to are telling me I need certain minimum number of days in business. Even though I have the experience, it's an MC authority thing. I may be new, he says, but when it comes to experience and safety, I think I should be at the top. Can you help me survive? This, ladies and gentlemen, this is your auto transport industry. Which again goes back to why when Charles posts this, it does look like the dealerships are fighting with each other. When really, oh man, let's not talk about the load board again, Jay. Let's just talk about jobs increasing by 139,000 in May. Yeah, let's talk about that. That's awesome, man. Demonstrates a remarkable economic comeback, and Trump this and Trump that. Oh, wait a second. Oh, no. Fact check on Google. I typed in biggest layoff numbers in May. In May, U.S. companies announced 93,000 job cuts. The number was a significant increase from the previous month, which means this is debatable, I'll say. And then there's information and tech sector and all that stuff. And you know what? Yeah, Business Insider, they just laid off 21% of their staff, and AI played a role. One thing is clear, AI is central to their future. Let's see, is it just Business Insider? No, Amazon says AI will reduce companies' corporate workforce. Amazon. Corporate workforce? That's us! Sam Altman says the gentle singularity is already here, where AI has surpassed humans in key areas, and we're on the path to superintelligence. Golly, I don't even use ChatGPT much. And then this article says, intelligence tools to automate white-collar jobs. This AI company wants to take your job. Wow. It's already being advertised? Not to mention Disney and NBC Universal have filed lawsuit against Midjourney, alleging the image generation tool is engaged in wholesale copyright infringement. So next time when you make that little toy figure product of yourself, you might want to check with Disney and NBC Universal. Listen, I don't know, but ChatGPT now connects to your business tools. ChatGPT has just become the hub for all your work, has introduced connectors that link ChatGPT directly to Google Drive, Dropbox, HubSpot, SharePoint. How do you keep up with it all? And there's oil tankers colliding and catching fire near the Strait of Hormuz. Where's the Strait of Hormuz? Oh, we've officially joined the war? Are we still in automotive news? Can't we get back to jobs are up and auto wholesale point awards? You know, I am trying to hang on to whatever sanity is left in the automotive industry in my neck of the woods from what I see and the crap I read. I don't read LinkedIn as much as I used to because I don't really like the idea that the automotive social aspect is all about liking stuff that'll bring more dollars. Is that where we are? I know, it sucks, man. You know, let's switch this up. Let's bring in Reed Hansen. Reed of MarketSurge. Reed's like, oh, I can follow that, Jay. On that downer, do me a favor, stick around right after this. We're going to be live with Reed. All four of you don't want to miss it.
Understanding web traffic at your site can be a funny thing. Who, when, why? Then you have things like bounce rates, visit times, return traffic. The point is, you have traffic, but are you capitalizing on all that traffic? and why they came to your site to begin with. You may do moving, vehicle inspections, car auctions, custom car building, car clubbing. Quotify is the first online shipping utility feature that helps you to retain the relevant traffic and capture business which is typically just sent away. It instantly allows your visitors to see multiple shipping companies' rates and live reviews with an option to book the shipment now or email it for later. If you have car shipping relevant traffic, then why not swing the bat and make some money along with some other added benefits? The best part of Quotify is that it's free. Yes, that's right. We actually pay you to offer your visitors something they most likely need anyways. So let's wrap this up. It's a totally free utility feature that will increase your site visit times, lower your bounce rates, increase return rates, and we even pay you to use it. Sounds too good to be true. It's not. Sign up today or call now to speak with a commercial account specialist.
Don't lose any more sleep worrying about missing leads. Get Transport Auto Quoter to quote the right price the first time, every time. Run your business with TAQ. Visit transportautoquoter.com. You have a question? Mark is in the live chat. He wants to help you. Do me a favor, please help me wish a very warm welcome to my featured guest tonight, Reed Hansen, Chief Growth Officer of MarketSurge. Reed, can you see me and hear me okay?
I can, yes. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
It's great to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Do me a favor. Please say hello, introduce yourself, tell us more about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hello to your audience. I am really, impressed by the production quality here. I love the show. I am the Chief Growth Officer and owner, so I get to give myself whatever title I want. And I have been with MarketSurge for just over a year. And prior to that, I was actually a client of the agency. And now we work with businesses of all kinds, logistics businesses, service-based businesses, creatives, and help them to build growth machines that work while they sleep. And that concept really drives us as we implement technologies and offshore and outsourced services to help them grow and focus on the work that they got into business for in the first place. So delighted to be here. I've worked many years in sales and technology, but really excited about a lot of potential for AI to make our lives better and free up time and resources.
You may have seen that I went with a fear angle.
Yes. So,
but now, is that fair? Was that, what do you think of that angle that I took?
Well, I definitely think there's a split in this conversation. There are reasons to be potentially wary of AI. I think that's absolutely legitimate. We've seen a lot of technologies in the past that have eliminated good jobs and disrupted industries that seemingly were really healthy. And the scariest thing about AI is that it is not fully formed yet. It continues to evolve on a daily basis. Every day there's some huge leap forward, and or some newsworthy event, a disaster or something. So it is a moving target, and we don't quite know what the final form is going to be.
Do you think, I think people, I don't know the percentage, I have no way of estimating it, but I think there's a double-digit percentage of people, because, I read that news, it's all white-collar corporate that's talked about. Mm-hmm. Double-digit percentage of people in any industry, I know specifically automotive for sure, that have got to be worried, are they next? Are they on the plank and they don't know it? And that fear, I mean, that's real. And I saw, I will say this, I saw by the email opens, I'm not wrong. People want to know as much as they can know. Now, having said that,
Yeah.
I do want to know, where do you get your AI updates?
Great question. I have a variety of sources, and I try to I try to be kind of eclectic in my search here. So I subscribe to several subreddits to see what the conversation is. I use a site called Hacker News, and I follow new product releases on producthunt.com. And trying to think what other sort, I subscribe to a handful of newsletters like The Click and AI for Business. So these are all free newsletters you can sign up for.
Right. And I think everything you just said is, it's not like large media resources. I talk about it all the time, AI Marketing Institute. I'll go to camera one. AI Marketing Institute is the name I know it by. You can search AI Marketing Institute. I don't get anything out of that, but I am on their weekly newsletter, and I tune in for their webinars, and they blow my mind.
Yeah.
And what I also like about AI Marketing Institute is that when I tune into webinars, they're not repetitive and boring. They literally are, and they kind of do a recap. I did that little news recap too. I think it's important to, when you walk up to a podium, try to get everybody up to speed of where we were, and now here we are. I like to do that, and I like webinars that do that. So yeah, again, not a major media resource. It's not like I went to MSN AI update or whatever.
Right.
Fox News AI special alert.
Right.
Right. Okay. All right. Now, why is that important? Why should we all seek out these AI updates? Why?
Well, I think, like it or not, AI will be more and more pervasive. And it's not only that, it's like it's at an accelerating rate. It's so, like, if we think like, well, we can definitely judge by how far AI has come from 2020 or 2022, that's the rate of change. It's like, absolutely not. I mean, I think by the end of the year we could see a huge shift in, I don't know, like mechanized robots with intelligence, the ability to understand commands and
you just jumped ahead like the Terminator.
Right.
But okay, so because I know that. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking about AI, and I don't want to bore anybody. I really don't. But I do know that I use it more and more on little things.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to get my podcast title. I'm trying to tweak it in. I'll go to ChatGPT. I may ask it for alternate words, where I would just go to thesaurus.com, but I have to search. But if I go to ChatGPT, I say, is there a 3-letter word for enthusiasm? And it'll just, drill through it all. Or, hey, can I get a 240-word podcast description of this, and give it a link or whatever? And when you use it, it's like jumping on lily pads throughout the day, because you're saving 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And if you add it up and you do this every day, suddenly you just saved an hour. And not only an hour, but time. I mean, I just said not only an hour, but time. Okay, but I don't know if I mean like energy. I think I meant energy. But having said that, okay, so I've painted the picture of AI like I needed to. What does MarketSurge do?
Yeah, so we are a digital technology firm, and I've kind of summed up our mission is really to give you a machine that you feed resources in, whether that's like the information about your business or clientele, and then the machine processes and produces leads, new clients, growth, revenue, however, whatever end goal you need. Now, the machine, you can get involved as much as you want or as little as you want. We can give you merely the platform and you run with it, or we take over the services and we understand your business and we monitor and maintain the machine for you. So that machine includes marketing automation for email, calls, text messaging, SEO management, ads management, resources to generate social media posts, and more we're turning. So, the things I'm describing, the more and more we're turning into a single view. You log in once, and you just monitor the health of the machine on your dashboard. Now, with various systems and more AI, we're bringing more and more systems into one place, and more information sources can be drawn on to have intelligent marketing and intelligent follow-ups, it's like we're in a laboratory and or a skunk works, and if you want to do it all yourself, that's fine, but we absolutely have the team to do it for you.
You just made me think of, okay, because if you own a business,
Yeah.
you quickly realize you don't have time to do everything, nor do you have the expertise. Even if you realize I need to improve my SEO, it's like, okay, now I need to go read SEO for Dummies. No, you don't. In fact, you just made me think of, that GoDaddy Arrow commercial where that guy Walton Goggins, he says, I know how to make slick looking glasses, but I have no idea how to run a business to sell slick looking glasses. And essentially, what we're coming down to is if you're a business owner, and I think in the age of AI, with job changes, etc., more people are either moving on to become new business owners or have to realize I need to know how to manage this AI.
Yeah.
Instead of, typing, writing, learning, doing. I need to know how to manage the programs that do those things.
Absolutely.
And do you believe that that's something that MarketSurge offers?
Absolutely. And the kinds of businesses we work with, typically they're experts in a technical field, have a creative artistic talent, and the majority of them have kind of taken sales as they receive them. And there's a frequent cycle with many businesses that have solopreneurs. They sell, or reach out to as many people as they can, and then they have a month full of work, and they work, produce the product, deliver the final, and then they have a month where they have no work, and so then they're selling, and that cycle continues because they can't sell while they're working, and they can't just maintain a consistent flow. So what you need is the ability to follow up with incoming leads as they come. You need more leads. You need more consistent leads, and help manage spikes and troughs in that kind of activity. So it takes automation, but it also takes some intelligence to navigate all of that. I'll throw out one thought as you're mentioning disruption in the corporate world. I do think that this AI might be a major disruptor to middle management in large corporations, where they're taking on reporting tasks, they're taking reports upwards, and they're delivering education and training and monitoring downward. Those kinds of tasks can be very easily aggregated by ChatGPT, and it seems to really pay to get expertise in something specific and niche, and then you can have the marketing tools that the LLMs provide.
I was just gonna say, I think it's a scary but good exercise
Yeah.
to look at what is it that I do that's repetitive,
Hmm.
that can be automated, and what is it that I do that I specialize in, that I really bring to the table. And so like even when I'm working on my show, like, and, okay, so one of the other shows that I'm doing now, because I think I've either said or like, well, I wouldn't listen to this show if it was AI, and then my guest was like, well, why wouldn't you? And I started thinking about it. I thought, okay, if this show, if AI could make this show as not engaging as I can, then maybe I wouldn't tune into that either. I'm using negatives here, but the point is that, yeah, why couldn't this be an AI-driven show? Now, not simply because I've made some I've now experimented with AI making content, and it's kind of dryly repetitive. But you know where it excels? In the research. What AI, you can dump a bunch of documents into it, and what it spits out. So let's go back into, if you don't work in media and you work in other areas. Number one, I was going to say leads are a funny thing because you have no time. A lead gives you about 3 seconds to let them know you hear them and you can serve them. And we know this too, because when we're customers in a chat, how much time do we give that chat to help? It's not long at all.
No.
So we need to be able to either get back, if we can't serve the lead momentarily, at least let them know, oh, hey, I know you're there. What do you need? In your automation, I pulled up, I went to let me go back to your website here.
Yeah.
I thought your page on automation, let's see here, you can sign up and learn more. I scrolled down on your homepage, AI sales agent. There it is, instant lead engagement. Can you tell me more about how your AI sales agent works?
Yeah. So we have two flavors of it, and they work similarly, but largely there's a text-based agent and a voice-based agent. The text-based agent is able to operate on several different platforms. So it can answer social media DMs. It can respond to, you see in the bottom right corner, we have a website chat agent. We also accept text and SMS inquiries at our corporate number if you text us. And so with those four platforms, it's the same bot that responds. Now, we had to instruct the bot to give it objectives, and the primary focus, I think, for some sales bots that you'll see, that is to close a sale. Ours is a little bit custom, or at least the product we offer is a little custom. So we really focus on getting an appointment. Now, in order to do an appointment, you'd be surprised at how many inputs it needs, but it does need our availability. It needs the time zone of both me as the salesperson and the recipient. Need a phone number for reminders, and an email to deliver calendar invites and confirmation. And but we also have to have it be prepared to answer um, like frequently asked questions. And so we create a whole wiki of frequently asked questions and responses with the proper wording to deal with each situation. And that can also include pricing. So that's the chat bot. The voice bot works similar. And in both cases, I'm just going to refresh my window here.
Yeah.
So in both cases, sorry, just one second.
No, you're good.
My
Because then I'm teeing up my next question. Because I'm realizing my next question is, why do you work on this stuff? Does it interest you?
You know, it absolutely does. And, like I've never had a job or like worked with something where I've wanted to work on it in my free time. And I just find this so fascinating. I work with AI. I try new AI products on the weekends and nights. And, you know, years ago, I used to do video games, or I used to be really into sports at various times, and it's like all that time, I'm just like fascinated by the new shiny objects with AI. Um, my latest is I've been doing a lot of coding with a tool called Cursor, and building my own apps. I'm not a coder, and I I'm able to build apps like iPhone apps. I'm able to build.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I've seen this.
Yes.
So the guys I'm working with, and I like talk about my AI podcast show here and there because
Yeah.
it does, to me, it represents a project worth working on. Because it's futuristic and it's what will it look like and how do we actually do this? And David Ray Jr., yeah, he was showing me a program a couple months ago. It wasn't a program, it's an AI that will help you code.
Yes.
And now there's all these custom AIs. And I looked up, I asked ChatGPT, how do you get a custom GPT? And it said you got to upgrade ChatGPT to Pro, and now you can create your own custom GPT. What in the world is a custom GPT?
Yeah. So similar to like the chatbot, like I was explaining, but the idea is that you have a set of instructions that are just for this GPT. So if you made like a company GPT, you could educate it on all of the customer facing language and verbiage you'd like to use, the history of the company, the products, the descriptions, everything that you would maybe involve in training a human employee. And also links to all the key resources that may be shared or referenced. And every time, so within that GPT, it still works like chat. You're still asking it questions, and every time you ask a question, it scans all the information you've fed it and answers in that context. So you could tell the custom GPT, act as if you are a longtime employee of this company or an expert on this company, or an executive at this company, a marketer at this company. So you can define the role and the perspective, and then the context. And whereas when you're just using an open Chat GPT window, it it only has a memory that's as long as the previous chat messages that you've asked it or given it.
Oh, okay. What you just said, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now, how would you define a custom GPT versus an app?
So a custom GPT, so the GPT for now is limited to, it doesn't actually operate. So, I mean, I guess to some extent it does a little, but it doesn't manipulate data. It doesn't log into your systems to make updates. It doesn't actually do things. It is
Right, so if I'm booking a flight, I got to go to the app.
got to go to the app.
GPT can't do that yet?
Not yet.
God.
There is a
That's going to happen.
Yeah, it is going to happen.
And it's going to also then say, listen, I don't know what it'll make recommendations, or I don't know.
It absolutely can, and it will give you step-by-step directions to book the flight, including every URL you need to click. There is a flavor of ChatGPT at the paid subscription level that is an operator, and one of the use cases that they mentioned was booking travel. However, it wasn't super effective, and it's been somewhat deprecated. And so what you can do, so ChatGPT is built on OpenAI. Now you can, and what I've been spending a lot of time doing is you can build apps that are powered by like JavaScript and Next.js, and using a platform, even using like ChatGPT, you can generate code and step-by-step instructions to build an app that maybe only lives on your computer, and you can program that with Bash and React and API calls. But by the way, this is stuff I've just learned like in the last few
Yeah,
weeks.
no, I love it. I love hearing like code jargon. I love that.
Right. But
So you're doing that. You're able to build custom
yes,
apps.
yes. And this is open to anyone. It's
Right.
you know,
Anybody can build custom apps.
anybody can do it.
It's
And
just that only some are.
exactly. And I think there's a little bit of like a mental block. You think like this does so much, it must be so hard to access. Like the barrier to entry must be so high. And sure enough, the people that work on learning language models are like, double PhDs and experts in psychology and linguistics and computer science and physics and the people like actually building it, but the 99% of us that are involved with ChatGPT, no computer science required. It's
And that
yeah,
right there,
yeah,
see, that used to be a barrier.
yeah,
If you didn't have a computer science background, if you didn't have a, then
hmm,
computer science, you could not,
right,
blah, blah, blah.
right,
No longer the case.
right,
Canceled, right? I mean, canceled not the right word.
right.
Hey, Mark has a question. Can Reed System listen to custom recorded calls and learn about how a sales rep would answer the customer's questions? Then, if it can, use that knowledge to answer the chatbot. But essentially, yeah, learning how. Is that possible?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we would
What?
create, like a custom bot that could, or a custom app that could. We'd instruct it to listen to recorded calls, whether it was an archive or as they came in, and uh, analyze the sentiment, the
And once again,
perspective.
repetitive
Yeah,
task.
right, right.
Right.
Yeah,
But not just garbage in, garbage out. It learns
it
or
does.
adapts. So what if it gets some rejections or hang-ups? Do you think can it learn?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so it will, um, it will provide reports on its success or failure, and but then within it is thinking. It's has access to everything online or everything you give it. It'll look for sales experts that have commented on a specific objection that this customer has, and or make note of regular trends, like instantly, and reposition its offer or messaging. And I mean, it's
And how many calls can it make at once?
yeah, that's right. Well, as many tokens as you can afford on OpenAI.
Right, a token. So you're limited by tokens.
Yes, yes.
But theoretically, you could be doing 50 calls at once.
That's right. That's right. And you may stress your phone system, but that will not be stressing the OpenAI API. So
Or at worst, you're literally, as soon as one call ends, another one begins.
right,
Which isn't really human.
right, right.
Let's be honest. We have to decompress,
Yes,
smoke breaks, whatever.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. The AI doesn't have feel guilt or shame or rejection.
Boy, what good news that is.
That's right. I know. Feels like it's the gateway to abusing these entities.
But that's also part of learning how to manage the AI.
Yeah,
I think that that's part of my fascination with it is we have to stop, like, we have these fear triggers or whatever, just have to put those away.
yeah,
In fact, if you work in automotive, you've already dumped half your morality. Dump the other half. Welcome to the machine. Right?
Love it.
That's so welcome.
Yeah.
Now, there are many people that will not appreciate what I just said, but there are those that know that is the truth. You have to just, in fact, there are many upper managers that know for a fact that that's the truth, is that when they show up at work, have you seen, what's the show where they disconnect their personality from work and from home?
Severance. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There are upper managers that have severed their personalities. Where do you think they got that idea?
Yeah. Yeah. It was that probably wasn't too much of a stretch for too many office workers.
Yeah, no. Wolf of Wall Street's like, yeah, dude, that's exactly how I do it. Let's talk about your podcast for a minute. We have 15 minutes left.
Sure.
Do you have a podcast, or what's going on?
I do, and this is funny. I think juxtaposed against the AI conversation, I've found like new life in like human contact as a marketing engine, and so earlier this year I embarked on a project to get myself some guest spots on podcasts, and that after a few opportunities, I found that there's very low barriers. I could do this, and I started my own podcast in addition, and whereas I had been heads down, like super focused on volume of cold email outreach, cold text outreach, I found just like a real life satisfaction, and have made some really valuable connections in doing this podcast exercise. So a lot of my guests have previously had me as a guest on their show. And by the way, Jay, that you've got an open invite to come join me, and
another group of people I can ruin.
Yes. But I've been focused on the interview format, and we tackle a topic that my guest is an expert on, and whether it's an industry or a business process. I was talking to a ghostwriter earlier this week who writes books for coaches, so they can self-promote or have a giveaway, and we really are just open to knowledge that's out there, people doing interesting things or unique things, and I'm having fun with it. When I see somebody like Jay, I'm like, I still have a ways to go to get really good at this, but
well, it's good to have goals.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, but I do feel like I can get a little bit better each time, and it's been an effective marketing channel and a good learning experience for me.
Yeah, no, that it is interesting. I always sound, we talked about this we had a meeting. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I saw in the past few months that other people have found me through an AI bot to be a guest, and I was opposed to that at first too, and then I realized, that is interesting, and here you are, and we're having a great conversation. I've had several so far, but I will say I turn down as many as I do. And then I'll get the follow-up email, hey, and if we're so far off, because that's the thing is there is a thing called the audience. I know, shocker, but it has to be, there has to be some level of relevance, and I bag on a lot of automotive podcasts because they're just so irrelevant, like. Just because you drink a certain drink, that is not the foundation for an automotive podcast. Or just because you wear a certain garment, it's not the foundation of an automotive podcast. And so you have to have a reason. You also have to, it's funny, people talk about authenticity like it's some rare earth mineral from China. If it is a rare earth mineral from China, then you lack authenticity. Authenticity, you should be able to literally, wake up in the morning and feel some authenticity. If you don't, you've been severed. This is actually why I love to talk about media, and this is why, to me, I like to talk about movies and books and music, because everybody can talk about movies and books and music, which is also why I'll never make a podcast about music and books and music, because literally everybody can do that. But movie. Name a movie you love?
Amadeus.
Man, that is an amazing movie. Why do you love Amadeus the movie?
Well, I thought it covered kind of it was, the dimension of Salieri, who was, it covered jealousy, which was so unique. Like it was like,
man, you are doing it. Yes.
Yes. Something you don't usually see.
It's interesting because you could say, you know what I was getting out of it? I wanted to compose like Mozart. I literally got some composition paper and started to try to do my first composition. And I had several instruments and a 4-track recorder. This was decades ago when I was cool. And I was, and I did that. But you're absolutely right. That movie is about jealousy and envy, which is amazing because it's pervasive. Yeah. It's also just a really great movie full of, amazing scenes and, a man in the wardrobe. I worked in the film industry for a while. The wardrobe is incredible. The music is incredible. And the scenes who plays Salieri? What's his name?
F. Lee Murray? Is that
Abraham? Murray Abraham?
F. Murray Abraham, yeah.
And he's an Academy Award winner,
That's
I'm
right.
sure.
Uh-huh.
When he talks about Mozart, oh my God, it's amazing. Wow. Good call. See, okay, great. The reason I asked you is because neither of us had to draw upon any script to talk about a movie we love.
Right.
And I wish Camera One, oh God, I wish that even half of the podcast in automotive would talk about automotive industry information with the same passion and authenticity that they do their favorite movie. But they don't. They're high-fiving and slapping and happening and all this crapping in, and it's stupid. I don't understand it. Now, that's why I don't want everybody to have their own podcast. But you hit upon it. It's a community building. If you're not building community, and that's why I laugh about ATI. I'm Camera One again, is that I'm 8 years in or whatever, and I should have this giant community, and I don't. I have failed to serve the automotive industry's finer tendencies, which is why I no longer go live every week. Something has happened where I've not connected with the automotive industry as it needed to be connected with, which is actually why I'm now working on new projects. So I'm glad that you're working on your project. That's not an easy thing to admit to live on my own channel.
Sure, yeah.
But I do believe in the power of media. I do believe there are authentic people. And I do believe that you got to try to find a way to connect with a community that will make sense and understand what it is you're trying to do. So I wish you great success.
Thank you.
On your podcast. Even if it's just one person a month, right? Yeah. How often are you doing? What's your strategy at this time?
So I am posting twice a week, and it's a 20 to 30 minute conversation. I've been, I guess I've been kind of waiting to see what really sticks. And what I've found is that the further I go afield from what I do, those ones seem to get the most views. So for instance, my
Oh, interesting.
yeah. So one of my recent guests was an agronomist, and I didn't even know what that was, and we had an intro call, and um, learned a lot. But apparently, he has a nice following, and um, his opportunities to be on podcasts were kind of rare, and so but he had a lot of interesting things to say, hearing about farming and the plant science, and the some of the logistics around getting crops to market were like
Did you say twice a week?
twice a week. Uh-huh.
Wow. Have you done that yet?
Um, so far, so I think I just
Oh.
did episode 22. So I've been
You've
doing it
done
for a
twice.
few
How
months.
how many weeks have you done twice a week?
Is that 10, 11? Yeah. So,
Amazing.
well, thank you.
Okay, that is really hard to do.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of
Are
time.
you using AI to do it?
I am. So
Ah.
but I mean, I mean, the conversations are real.
No, I mean that in a good
Yeah.
way, because
Uh-huh.
I mean you
Yeah.
have to. You're gonna
Yes.
have, because it's really gonna be hard to keep that going.
Yeah.
Without AI.
Right. Right. Yeah. There's an editing
Yeah.
software that I came across that is pretty AI powered. It's called Descript, and
I have started using
Okay.
Descript. That is incredible. How are you using it?
so I use it as both the recording room. So
Yep.
you and I are on Zoom, but
I'm using Riverside now.
Riverside. There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And I create a room and give them the link prior to the start of the meeting, and
Yep.
so it records, it then produces a transcript, and then I wait for it to finish processing, like a 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm able to edit. Well, I mean, as you know, I
You
can
just
go
use
through.
like magic clips or whatever. You just tell it.
Yes.
Create clips.
Right, and like
Yep.
eliminate retakes. So like if I've stumbled over a word,
Yes.
it knows to
Yes.
eliminate that.
Yeah, so you have like an AI, like audio, and you have different options. Remove gaps of silence.
Mhm. Right. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
blur your background, fix your eye contact with the camera. There's a lot of
Yeah, that's freaky. Now, eye contact, I think, is new,
yeah.
as well as like, and this is this is where AI is happening. Everywhere you look, they're working on new AI features, just as
Mhm.
whatever AI you're using. So you're doing all this in Descript.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, is that like it's 35 a month? Is it?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm
Uh-huh.
paying. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I'm liking it so much I might go for an annual. So I mean, not trying to sell the script here,
No,
but
hey,
but you can
exactly.
get it.
Well, that's what makes these. It takes it from, because before Descript, you still have to get your webcam,
Mhm.
and you still have to. Well, once you have the software, do you have a camera and a microphone, two separate things?
I do. Uh-huh.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and
So
then
you
I've
got
got a
your camera,
light right over here. Uh-huh.
How many lights do you have?
Just one. I probably
Just one?
a
Looks
lot of
pretty good.
Yeah, I need to get another one, I think, because I can see this side is a little shadowed. But
Well, it's okay. No, it's fine. Your
Yeah.
lighting is fine. Yeah, I have several lights, but that's in time. So you got your camera, your microphone, your lights.
right. Hmm.
You've got Descript software.
Yes.
Anything else? How do
Um,
you come up with? Do you use AI to come up with show ideas? Tell me more.
I do. So the AI is really helpful. There's a few other activities that I need to do. Producing the show notes because I want them lengthy. I want a lot of links in there. I want timestamps, and so I'll ask. And I've created a custom GPT just for show notes, and so I'll plug in my guests' backlinks, and we've got kind of a standard list of things that I want, and it gives me a title and the show notes, and it will also give me versions for LinkedIn when I share a snippet, and I post snippets on TikTok and Instagram as well.
Does it post to your account, or do you
That
have to do that part?
So Descript allows me to post to YouTube and create the clips, but then I have to manually do that. But you know what? Now, like it's on my list of things that I'm creating in Cursor to automate. So Descript
Exactly.
has
You
an
just need the
API.
code.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
because with code, since everything's on the internet,
Right.
with code, anything's possible.
Right, right. And and so
Crazy, man.
you have access to it used to be too, you used to have like have to have a physical server, but now you can use Amazon Web Services or Google Cloudflare and so all those things can be like just with logging into these systems and paying a few cents, you've got a whole server ready to go. And you know, it's just incredible.
That is awesome. All right, so what's your home? Is it a website? Is it your YouTube channel? What's your home?
Yeah, and I think it's evolved. So our website is useful for getting information about us, but I would even refer you more to our YouTube channel. We're producing a lot more content there, and it's if you look for "Surging with MarketSurge," that's our channel. That's the at.
Surging with Market
Yeah.
Surge. Nice. That's good.
Well, thanks.
And
And
you're the host.
I'm the host, and I also produce a few solo videos, informational videos. Like I mean, I love your format. I need to do more. I've started to involve more like slides.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that. It's because I know that I appreciate the that you like the show.
yeah,
It means a lot to me.
yeah,
I will tell you. I'll just say this just to see that you know how did I get here. Is
yeah.
I mean I have made okay. I always do this. Like I don't know how many shows I've made, and when I talk like that, it's like, well, have you made many? Yeah. So have you heard of public access? That's how far back I go.
Wow.
And yeah, that was like 3/4 inch broadcast tape, which was that was like big VHS tape. Anyways, that was where I cut my teeth on. There's a stage, there's cameras. What do you want to do? And I saw a lot of like religious shows and I don't know, like paranormal. I can read your mind shows, or we're gonna do a massage, or all these kind of. And I thought, okay, that's interesting, but can you do more? And then I saw this. There was this crazy show where they would have like people on with interviews, and I was like, that's really good, but man, that's a lot of work. So what's in between? And I've always strived for what's in between. What is? It's not so much work that I'm gonna lose my mind, and because I don't have a staff, but it's gotta feel fresh. I don't want to do something repetitive and boring. And so over the years, I've worked towards that, and then YouTube, and then Zoom, and then all this technology. But I still do it the same way with I like to do kind of the show and tell slideshow. I love that.
Yeah. Can I ask what you use for your slides?
Yeah, I'm doing it old school
Okay.
again, public access.
Sure.
I literally use MonoSnap to
Okay.
screen capture stuff.
Okay.
Articles, whatever. I even use Camtasia to upgrade a boring slide to add a couple images to it
Okay.
so that it looks kind of, South Parky or whatever.
Hmm.
And then the reason I do that is I've always had a knack for putting images together and telling a story. Even in college, I had some professors that were like, you have a really interesting way of telling a story. I'm like, well, it's because I'm an aspiring filmmaker. Like, okay, well, keep doing that. Whatever that is, it's interesting and weird the way you do it. So I've always been that way, and I like to do slideshows, but they're very primitive. What I find is like kids that are great with like Adobe After Effects and all this flash and crash and flames, well, they have it over on me because I don't know how to use that stuff. And what I'm looking for is I would love an AI that I could feed my slideshow and it'll like make it HD, like this is Jay's slideshow in Spielberg vision, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for, there must be a custom GPT that could be built for that. Because as you can see, it's still very, like, South Park-y.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Primitive, but
yeah, it looks great. I think it's awesome.
And then on top of it, the icing on that cake, oh boy, is that is what I'm doing is I'm doing kind of a spoken word news report as the images flash. It's not scripted or planned, but I did build it. But I literally built it today. I put those slideshows together the day of the show, since it's as fresh as possible. And throughout the week, here, this is pro tip, throughout the week is when I see articles or anything that might be relevant, it goes into the folder. So it's basically a scrapbook folder, and then in the day of the show I go through and go, yeah, no, and then I update, put things in order, and now it's a flip book of craziness. And I also know that it's only going to last 10 minutes or so people can get through it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great.
Jay's crazy ass slideshows.
No, it's super entertaining. I really like that.
They're fun to do. And I'll tell you, that's like you mentioned the agronomist.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the other things that I think is so strange is that business people pretend that the only way to talk about business is to stay in your little lane. But that's not how real life works. We're all interested in all these different things. And they help us kind of come up with that final opinion goo that we spout at parties. And what goes into that is a wide variety of stuff. So the fact that the U.S. has officially entered the war is now new relevant information into how we view business tomorrow. Maybe not next week, but at least tomorrow. Or when Musk and Trump were arguing, and it was a real win for Democrats, which I don't identify in the Democratic Party, but I do consider myself part of the human side that doesn't pretend that every day should be a military parade. Okay. And by the way, the military parade was it wasn't awesome. Which is cool, because this is America, right? We don't need military parades to appreciate the military.
Right.
We appreciate the military. Keep the 50 million. I'll tell you what, take $1 million, take Melania, and go on a river cruise for a month, man. Party. Dude. That's what she was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, so the agronomist, I'll bet you what was cool about that interview is even though it's farming and whatnot, there were moments that played into the bigger picture of how we form opinions. And so while I don't, here's another thing on Jay's media philosophy. I don't believe in the everything show because it's sooner or later you realize I don't want to make the everything show anymore. But it can include everything, but it's not the everything show. And the best example is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is all over the map, but it is not the everything show. He's not going to teach you how to make an avocado salad next week. All right. I could talk about media all day. It's actually my favorite topic.
Yeah.
It's ironic that I make this automotive show. I think that's been the problem. Maybe I need to go back to media. But everybody makes the media show. Right. And what's on YouTube, it's mind-blowing how many channels and podcasts there are. So don't get discouraged if the numbers are low. I just saw that even New York Post is now launching the New York Post podcast. Did you see there's a new podcast called AirPod One, which I guess is Air Force One White House podcast? I don't really know.
Oh, wow.
So it is good. The world, we got a lot more podcasts ahead of us, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think.
So enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Reed, thank you for being here. That was fun. That was interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. It was my pleasure. I really enjoyed the conversation.
As did I. So let me know when you, if you need a guest,
Yeah.
and that makes sense, let me know. You'll be in trouble if you take me up on it.
I'll take it.
Okay. All right, man. Thanks a lot. I'll see you.
We'll see you.
Take care, Reed.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. I put him in the waiting room. I'm ending the show. I think it's a good thing that I'm doing the AI automotive podcast, whatever. In some ways, I feel like I'm winding down ATI. I'm not exactly sure if that is the case, but I'm definitely backing off the throttle, at least of the frequency. I had hoped that by going live every week, I would reach this level in the automotive industry that it was indisputable that what Jay does at ATI, nobody's doing. That is not going to happen. It hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. And I keep whacking at the piñata that is so obvious to so many people that are represent some of the real problems in this industry. But we're not in an industry that is focused on real problems. The automotive industry, as I know it, is focused on marketing, advertising, agenda, and a lot of the other topics that I put before the news that I just don't agree with. It's not interesting. What you see, this upside down information where look for this. Something gets 50 likes, but nobody read it. Almost nobody watched it. What is that? If something gets 10 times the likes, but less than 10% engagement, what is that? Why did something get so many likes and so little engagement? It's because it's not actually desired content or information or material. We are in I put it in the notes, and I hinted upon it with Reed, but I'll say it here. We're in the great avoidance in automotive. We've been avoiding whatever it is that we don't actually want. We just like it so it looks like we're in the club. And at some point, it's not working. We're on the verge of whatever that is not working. That's why I'm staying here. I'm not leaving because I want to be here for the duration of the great avoidance. In fact, I think I've been a part of the movement of the great irritation. The great irritation is the precursor to the great avoidance. You heard it here first on ATI Auto Business. Part of the great irritation. Stay tuned for the great avoidance. I'll be back. I think what I'm doing now is I do a Tuesday night, and then the next week I do a Thursday. And then the next week I do a Tuesday, and then the next week I do a Thursday. But I'm not sticking to that. And if I'm not there, it doesn't matter anyways, because almost everybody watches or listens on demand. So it doesn't matter if you miss the show or catch it live. It doesn't matter. In fact, it doesn't matter if you miss any of these shows or watch any of these shows. That doesn't matter either. What matters in automotive is if you have a job, you have people that need to see you liking the right things. Actually, I think that's about it. So just like the right things, Don't like ATI. It'll only get you in trouble. But you can secretly tune in, because if you tune in to ATI on YouTube or LinkedIn, nobody will know you did that. So just don't leave a like. Don't do anything. But stay tuned for the great avoidance. And on that, here comes the car hauler. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Good night.